Okay, we are in episode 76 of my 248k modded Factorio run on a ribbon world with a 10 times science multiplier, and we're kind of standing around this kind of awkward, dejected old bit of the base with like yellow belts and silly train stations and stuff like this. That, yeah, today is going to be a day about reorganizing things into patterns that are good, starting with these beacon core things. So yeah, in the 248k mod, you don't put modules in beacons, you put modules in beacon cores, and then these beacon cores distribute the effects to beacons, which is one of the systems I like. This setup here that I've got is kind of ugly. The other thing beacon cores do is they give us these cubes for research purposes. And because I have a 10 times science multiplier, I kinda need more than one core, not specifically of the red cubes, but of the yellow cubes, which are in a very similar looking core down here. Very similar setup. Also ugly, we're going to redo all of this. And so, yeah, we're going to just start getting rid of these things. We're going to pick them all up with our bots, so we can take them to the new place that I blueprinted in between episodes. We blueprinted a bunch of stuff between episodes, actually. That was pretty good. And we're going to take all of these things away as well. Inventory full? Okay, fine. I guess they can just go back and not on that, in here. Yeah, inventory is a bit of a mess at the moment on the grounds that I've been handcrafting some of these other cores and then some of these other data centers and things like that. And do I have uranium recycling in the main? I think I do. Here's my nuclear train, and yeah, I do in fact have, yeah, that's fine. That means I can active provide all of these. Oh, actually, we need to get rid of these train stations first. This is, wait, not that one, because that one doesn't actually go into the beacons, that one goes into the batteries. Get rid of all of this stuff, yeah, so we've beaconed, and then I don't want any of this myself, so we'll just have the house bots do this, and then all of this will go into the logistics system, and we can just have it turned into, like, we'll just use this uranium that we are pulling off belts rather than mining more. Okay, because I've got all that train fuel. That's a decent reason. You can have some train fuel, you can have some train fuel, everyone gets train fuel. Let's not give you all that train fuel. Yeah, because I think we can have some tanks to pump that over. Yeah, there's a weird thing about these that you've got to take the beacons out first. I'm not going to have enough inventory space for this. Cool. Well, this is... Okay, let's not put it there. Let's put it there. And then, actually, let's just use this to get rid of a bunch of stuff that I don't need from my inventory. I guess these will take over to the other place, and then, yeah. I don't think I need that many of those either. I don't need module frames. Yeah, and then my bots are still off, so the house bots can just grab that. And then, similar story here. Yeah, so we're going to grab these modules out of the middle, and then just yank these things out, which is going to cut our beacons for a while. I don't even think I care about the red fluid, because the red fluid is... Oh yeah, I picked up the things, we can't look at the recipe. Where's the recipe for red fluid? It's like 8 wire and a mysterious crystal for 200 units. So even 800 red wire is like a couple of stacks. This entire tank is a couple of stacks of green chips. I don't think I care, we can just get rid of all of that. And then the same with the blue wire, which means we can just actually, not that one, because I think maybe the uranium one is worth salvaging. But all of this can just be... Oh yeah, these ones are the train stations that need to go away. These train stations, thanks, you did good things at the point where we needed you. We do not need you anymore. And then this is a nice trick to have logistics bots help me move all this material out of these chests. Because like, construction robots trying to move a stack of 1,900 copper. not that great. Logistics bots also helping out much better, especially when I've got, you know, another 1,000 logistics bots not really doing much. So all of this can just kind of go away. Actually, that's not quite true. We need to keep some of these power poles so this pump continues to be, because we kind of want to move this all to a new place. And then these stations we can get onto deleting later is fine. I need to go to a couple of other places this way to also pick up more stuff, because we have already, we've got a train that's run out of fuel. Well, that train has run out of fuel. Yeah, I don't care about that train. That train is fine. Like, this is already full. There's 2 million crude oil here, so these guys are, you know, that's already a big oil patch. The only thing that oil is doing is providing oil here, which also has a 2 million crude oil buffer, and is also taking coal and doing liquefaction things, and making gas to make plastic. And I still have a lot of plastic for those red chips. So that's the only thing that oil train is doing, so I think that's just going to be, we just leave it there and deal with it later. Although I guess that means I don't have a train fuel station in this part of the large grid, which is kind of a thing, because this is just the mall, isn't it? That's just the mall. And then this one is just the drill bits for these drills, which are also stationary? Are my red chips just full? Maybe my red chips are just full. That would be kind of surprising. Okay, sure, whatever, moving on. Yeah, all of these stations we will disassemble later, and we want to go back to the core, because there's still other things that, yeah, logistics bots doing a lot of charging things. I guess these roboports, yeah, these roboports are... Okay, I've chosen a very bad place to try and get out of here, because we're waiting on that steel train. One of the things about these new bots... Is this the right way? That's the right way. Actually, let's not go there. Let's go over here. One of the things about these bots is that they do take quite a lot of charge, and normal roboports not great at charging bots, but also I don't really mind. Yeah. Oh well, whatever, they're fine. We've got other things to do. The other things we need to build are in different grids anyway. So yeah, so here are a bunch of boxes that I've been using to try and collect other parts of things I needed for... What is this? This is... Okay, K2 energy providers, yeah, I'll have those, because we need to collect a bunch of things, but then also I think I'm going to need to just, like, dump a bunch of stuff in these chests. To continue, is it this box? I think this box lets me handcraft another Ki3 core, which are the ones that are tricky because they need structured matter. Actually, I think I go and address that first. And the way we're going to get more structured matter, that structured matter comes from launching rockets, which is a bit of a pain, which is also tied to how much science we get. Like at the moment, like these two silos on the right, and all of these satellite construction things. There's like tiers of satellites that you work through in the 248K mod that end up giving you stuff that you... there's also this beacon fluid. I forgot about this beacon fluid. I think we ignore that for the moment. Yeah, then we process with other things and more acid and end up with this structured matter. And I think the way I get more structured matter is I disconnect all of these inserters from the circuit condition that checks whether or not I've got enough space science. So I might end up slowing down the space science of the labs because these silos will run regardless of whether or not I've actually got enough. But I think that's probably worth it because I would also just rather have more structured matter that I can use to turn into, yeah, more of these cores. And that's the thing where item handling fluids facilities. Have I not automated those? Whatever, moving on. Okay. Other things we want to do is we want to wander down to this other beacon core area and grab these beacon cores as well. You need to not have that anything. And while we're there, we may as well also, yeah, so these stations also don't need to exist. And then I want my bots on because I want to take these things with me. Is this where... Yeah, this is where the stuff is ending up on... Okay, sure. Yeah, and then we take these... This is all going to fit. This is... How have I got so much stuff that doesn't fit? All this stuff in my inventory. Okay, whatever. Did I need to... I did need to take some out of yellow belt. Okay, fine. These I won't need to take... These I won't... Yeah, all of whatever. You just go away again. And then... Okay, that did not work. Because my bots were helpful. I did not want my bots to be helpful. I was kind of hoping another job would turn up and put all of those in a different place before... Yeah, whatever. We can alt-D that later when we come back to remove the rest of this stuff. Okay, so this... Yeah, give me all of these, and then this green fluid is the Ki2 fluid. The red fluid I don't care about. The blue fluid does go back to the base for other stuff. So we're going to get rid of all the red fluid by all of this stuff, that, I mean, a train is going to turn up. Actually, we don't need a train to turn up here. We will never have a train turning up there again. And then this much of a thing that doesn't need to exist yet. And at some point later, we'll active provide all of these things again. Actually, are we... Oh, we've got all the logistics bots freeze. I don't have the chests on me at the moment, so we can have construction bots bring all of those chests, and then logistics bots will turn up and get all that stuff done. Get rid of these train fuel things. Okay. This is the train that's going back to the main, isn't it? And then this is... That, we'll just have that one doing nothing for a while. Yeah, okay. So we've now got... I think we have picked up enough of these things, and we've got 2 Ka3 cores, which is good, because it means we're getting more of that. We've still got the beacons we need, which is good. So let's head over to the first thing I blueprinted in between, which is complaining about a bunch of stuff. And... yeah. We've now got a much more concise pattern that does much better rail supply things, and much better mall things, and just like a lot more beacon cores than we had previously. So previously we had those 2 spots for a total of 4 beacon cores, with 2 Ki2 beacon cores, and I forgot the other ones, and... yeah, 1 Ki3 beacon core, and now we've got all of these things which are going in here, which is nice, and we've got space for and plumbing for, and a much nicer arrangement for 5 Ki3 cores, which we don't have yet, and 4 Ki2 cores. And still just 1, because the Ki1 core doesn't actually give us... The Ki1 core doesn't give us any research cubes, so it's not a thing that's as important for our tech multiplier. How am I getting... It did need to be this one, didn't it? Because the thing I'm thinking about is, I still don't know... I still don't think I'm going to have enough of this tier 3 fluid to run all of these at the same time. Not that it's a problem at the moment, because I don't have that many of them at all. But I think it's... yeah, this one at the top here has this pump. That means that this Ki3 core is the one that actually gets preferential access to the fluids. So we're going to power... Actually, this one had... kind of doesn't matter because they're all somewhat the same. Yeah. So... is this... I think we deal with that. Because the thing I'm trying to figure out is how do I make sure that... because the Ki3 fluid is made here and pumped out here, and we've got this other setup here that we can use to bring in the stuff that's in the other tank. Because we're... oh yeah, because we're not making it here for reasons yet, are we? There's another thing about that. But then also... how do I make sure... I guess I do this. Because I would rather that yeah, this one, we're going to do this. Because I need to make sure that this Ki3 core gets Ki2 energy preferentially over any of these, because these are just going to be giving me cubes, whereas this one is giving me beacon effects. But what we should actually do is set up everything else so that they're actually getting their things. So let's have a look at how this blueprint works. We've got some more stuff again. We've got like some much larger, more concise lines of things. I actually need to make. Do I need to make more of those? Do bots have more of them? Have I just not walked into range of them? No, I actually just need to make a bunch more, although probably not, because I'm missing a couple of cores yet anyway. So over here we've got some bot mining, because I figured bot mining was a thing that we may as well throw in by the time we're doing all this stuff with bots anyway. So I'm going to tidy this up a bit, because we are not using this intersection at this point. Let's do it that way. Do I like it that way around? Whatever. Yeah, so we're doing some bot mining. We've got... Actually, we need to break the grid first, don't we? Because this is all... We used this existing rail grid to make it easy to build all this stuff. But before we Logibot supply this, we kind of need to break the grid so that the bots we give to this section just stay in this section. And there's actually a really cute thing I noticed about this that was kind of accidental, but we're absolutely going to take it, is that, yeah, much earlier in the run, I complained about the bad design of this grid, which was like partly intentionally designed to be bad because it was kind of funny and silly. So these central sections are completely rotationally symmetric, which is nice. The outsides are not. The outsides are, and this is because I designed the terrible small grid before I'd actually thought about how big the ribbon was going to be. So these outside ones aren't square, with the result that, like, this thing is kind of designed to fit one train nicely, so that all the trains are just on the grid. And then I realized that I could use the fact that the outsides were longer, which is a thing I've used elsewhere, but I could have the longer outsides support a kind of chaos station thing through just on the grid. So that's how we're getting in. Yeah, we can't actually name these train stations. We've got to break the grid first. And then the second thing I noticed that I've also complained about previously is, like, this grid being so small and all these roboports being so close together is like a really inefficient use of resources, as opposed to having like the roboports further apart that would allow them to connect up like with greater distances. But the thing that did strike me about this, which is what we're going to do now, is because I've got way more roboports than I need, if I just snap off the ones on the outside, then it so happens that we end up with a roboport grid on the inside that more or less still respects the grid shape. So we take out these roboports, and then also, can we go? Yeah. And also this one. And now we have our own little roboport network here that's just for the beacon cores. So that's how that's going to work. And then there's some other silly stuff like there's a train fuel request here, but this is inside this new grid we've snapped off, but we're requesting train fuel from the other grid and hopping it into the grid with a pair of long-headed inserters, which is pretty silly. This... Did I not get the Ki2 energy providers? Why? Oh, because I turned off my bots. Yeah, okay, sure. So this can just be a uranium request station. Where's my uranium request? This one. Train number 1 doing a thing. Yeah, so that's now going to request uranium. This train station is pretty bad, but as long as this is balanced, these wagons will unload evenly and it'll be fine. Then the signals are actually connected to the front of these things, so it will look at kind of both these wagons, kind of. And the idea was, as long as there are equal number of energy providers on either side of this thing, the output will be lane balanced. So that makes the station lane balanced. Except that we kind of haven't built all of it yet, so it's not lane balanced. So we'll worry about that later. We're not going to worry about that now. The thing we had to do now is, yeah, also call in more water, because we've got yet another arbitrary ad hoc little smelting loop thing, which only just gives me the amount of copper I need to run both of these coil things for both of these things for my beacon amount. And yeah, then these miners are also spread out a bit. They should never run out of stuff. It should be fine. Let's get some water in here. I've got a train station. This train station will mean that a train visits here and deposits some water, which is fine, and then this pump will only take some of it, and we can just like have a little closed water loop going around there, so that's fine. These guys need... Oh, they've got 14 construction bots in here. Oh, these guys have got bad logistics robots. Let's take those. Where can I find the construction robots? Because I would kind of rather... Like, I won't need construction robots in this area at all. Yeah, there they all are. Because if I ever have more of the parts... No construction or logistic, good. Yeah. If I ever have more of these parts, I will be returning myself, because this is also not on... I don't think this is on the same grid. Yeah, here's where we also broke the grid so that we could also have multiple malls and bot travel distances wouldn't be this far. In fact, here is that mall. So when we were building this, the bots only had to go this far to get most of the stuff they needed. So we need to get a train in here for that water. We need to get some trains in here for crystals. Not that one. We want to get crystals in here. Yep. And then we should have a train arriving. And then we also want green chips. Where's green chips? And this also means the green chips are being pulled from the Star Engine build, which has good productivity in all those places. And then these guys have also got productivity modules and all that's kind of good. I had a bunch more of this red stuff goes over here. And then I've also got way more of this than I want. 33 is a good number to have left around. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, I've got crystals as well. Sure. Okay, so we are waiting on the water train. That is the thing where, because when we get the water train, this will run, and then all of this will run. And yeah, I guess we've got other train stations to set up at the same time, because we did want... It was over here. This train station here wants to be the request station for KI3 energy, because this is where all of that is happening now. And then the other station where the stuff used to be, this one, wants to change to a have KI3 energy. And we are still not going to be making this... wrong one. Over here. Have KI3 energy. Yes. And then... Yeah, I kind of want to get rid of the... Yeah. And then these also need to go this way. And also that way. That's KI2 energy. That's fine. This one actually needs to turn into a have KI3 energy as well. K2, in fact. Go over here. Because, okay, so we actually messed that up. We didn't create the other station first. Because I haven't actually done that yet. Okay, fine. Do I have a train station? I hope I don't have a train station. Do bots have a train station? I hope... is this even in the same network? Yes. Do bots have a train station? No. Okay. Cool. Okay, we're going to take the science station. Which we probably don't have enough cubes for yet anyway. I need to turn off my bots before I do that trick. Because we want to use this station... Okay, bots did have a station. Okay, whatever. I'm not worrying about that yet. We will put the sites back in a moment, I guess. I think I've got... I wonder if... Oh no, I've got pumps. It's fine. Do I have... I have poles as well, which is good. And that this is going to be Ki3 energy. Which we... Sorry, Ki2 energy. Which we might not have stations for anymore. Yeah. Okay, so where's the have version, but then we change this to a request. And we'll move some of... Yeah, we'll kind of... We'll make some of this here. We'll also move the stuff across. It'll be fine. Somewhere down here, this train... Not that train. This train here wants to go to the station we just made. And we shall move all these beacon fluids across. Is this going? Yeah, this one is now... Yep, cool. So you can bring this here as well. And we should probably talk about why we're not actually migrating the Ki3 energy yet. And we're about to finish a tech, so that's a good place to talk about. Oh, it's in the train station is still in the build range of the other one. Okay, fine. Actually, we're gonna go plug the copper in first. Oh, here's the water train. Here's the water train that we were waiting for. So yeah. So this train is now delivered some amount of water, so that's nice. We can get rid of this. We can power both those pumps. You go back there. And we should end up with a tank that is not full. Because as long as the tank is not full, stuff can just go around on a loop, and that is fine. And now we are smelting copper. And we are bot mining the copper and directly putting it in these chests, and then we've got the crystals, we've got the chips. Do I have any crystals or chips in my inventory that I don't want? No, good. And we are... I mean, are our cores powered again? Why are our cores not spinning? We're just waiting on getting enough blue fluid. That's fair enough, because we did kind of reset all of that. Yeah, you've got enough... Oh, how much? What is it? What is this trigger set to? More than 50. Okay, fine. Because we do go through it pretty quickly. Yeah. So, reasons why we're not moving all of this over here yet. I mean, this is also still just set up for 2 ingredients. And the thing about that is the recipe we have for that at the moment. Fusion stage? Fission stage? Is it? Yeah. The recipe we have for that takes 3 components, whereas I was poking around in the trees, tech trees, and did find that there is, there's these efficiency recipes that give us better rates of stuff, but then like 400, I might be able to afford that immediately. Let's get this in here. Yeah, then one of the techs we really want is the increasing number of beacons, and this large number here, 3,000, is why we want more Ki2 cores to get more cubes to get this stuff done. But there's also in effectivity 2. Let's queue this one up and see how far we get, because I'm pretty sure we've made more than 400 cubes so far. There is the next, we're a couple of levels away from a version of the Ki3 energy that doesn't need exotic science, which is exciting, because exotic science is the one that's difficult to come by. And so we've got 2 train stations here. We'll use those to call in. I think I probably already have the filters on. I do not already have the filters on the train stations. So these will be fusion tech and red chips, and then we'll move all the energy providers over here, but we're not at the moment, because the only place, where is it? In here? The only place where we've got the exotic science is currently here, in the middle of the main base, because it needs rocket launch stuff. So we're going to keep this set up for a bit. We're going to put it in tanks. We're going to continue to train it over. We need the exotic science. At the point when we don't need the exotic science, we can pick all of these up and move them to this place where we are. But yeah, now this is pretty good. Now we've got both of both of these Ki3 cores running, we're getting more. Why aren't you? You don't have red. Is that because it's because I'm missing all of these? Okay, so we're need to go and make some more of those. But that's also fine as long as these ones, as long as the 3 that are doing effects are doing a thing, and then the other one I care about is the Ki3 core, so we can get more yellow cubes out. But yeah, actually it is okay. Yeah, it is time to head back to. Is there anything else I need to do here? There's still a lot of blinking, but there's also, I think this is just okay. So these are charging stations, which don't really matter because all we're doing is moving copper from here to here. And then there's the rest of the cores, which we don't have the stuff for yet. The rest of the energy providers, which we also haven't made yet. So let's go back to the core, because there's stuff to do. Yeah, there's just a bunch of cores and energy providers and things like that that we can kind of handcraft. And yeah, actually there's one other thing we could do over here first, because I don't think we've actually looked at the new power grid yet. And this is fancy new power grid that I put in before spinning up the red chips, because I thought I might need more. And this is, this is a decent sized power grid. This is 12 stellarators. And the power grid is, when we click on one of these things as they go past, we can, is pretty healthy now, 48 gigawatts. The thing is, each of the tier 3 beacon cores we just added will eat 2 gigawatts by themselves. And also, if we look at the usage, one of the things that is the largest users of power is the fusion reactors themselves. Each fusion reactor, and I've got like a nice pattern that all lines up now. Each fusion reactor will itself use 400 megawatts in return for generating 2 gigawatts. So we only really get 1.6 per stellarator, and also this headroom here is kind of a lie, because as we use more of this, we will need more of it to generate the power we're using. So we don't really have this much to work with. And the theme being, I think this thing here is getting copied and put somewhere else in between episodes again. I mean, I quite like... Yeah, so we've again got the thing where all of these guys have a little closed loop of lead to themselves. We've got not very many pumps, because these critical steam things are like super effective in terms of how much water they need for how much power they generate. But we've got like this kind of nice brick of 12 stellarators that we can use. I figured out that one electric energy injector and one oil refinery will produce more protium than I need for 12 reactors. So I think the whole thing, like the current fuel setup, I say current, it's about to not be current, but I don't know if we're going to fix it this episode, is, yeah, over here, like this was where we were first putting the fusion tech research down, and so we're crushing lithium. This lithium comes from a bunch of places from smelting. Like I put extra in, yeah, over here we've got lithium coming from whenever we process water from any smelting, we're getting this lithium out, which is fine. Yeah, and then this all had the somewhat unfortunate side effect. You need to be looking at the research fuses to talk about the research fuses. Had the somewhat unfortunate side effect that this train, which carries all of the fusion fuel, which I use to power my entire base, is dependent on a product that comes from smelting, which is a risk. And so I had a couple of places where, vast tanks of, actually this one isn't all that full, I think there are a couple of others that are around the place that are just straight up just full. But then, having realized how much protium I could get out of one electric energy injector, the next thing I did is we've got our third star engine over here that is on lithium duty. And lithium doesn't actually take all that much protium. And also I don't need lithium at the full rate that this thing spits out lithium. That's a lot of lithium. And so I figured out that the amount of power I needed, up to something crazy like, I forget what it was, I forget what number I used, something like 200 gigawatts, I can still get all of that done just with 5 energy injectors. Because of how little lithium I actually need, and the fact that, like, I think the the iron version of this is something like 26,000. And so we did thermochemical separators and all that kind of stuff, and multiple oil refineries. This is like a lot simpler. And now we've got also this giant central lithium crushing facility that puts lithium on... I don't have a train yet here, do I? Do I have... I do have a train that I could give. I don't think that... Did this train... Am I driving around in a personal train that doesn't have the supercharger on it? That sounds like something I do. But yeah, now we've got 2 million lithium here, and this means a couple of things. Number one, we can have a train, like, wherever we put a power plant has to be next to water anyway, because turbines, which means that we can just generate protium from the water for our accelerators. This is going to be a train that will just have lithium. And crucially, this lithium that's coming out of the star engine is separated from any dependency on smelting. So even if the rest of the base shuts down and I don't smelt anything and I don't get any more dirty water, my power plant is still fine because I now have the perpetual motion machine of a star engine powered by fusion power, which fusions from salt water the components I need to do more fusion to generate that fusion power. So this is not as far as materials and throughput, this is not the greatest use of a star engine, but this gives me a kind of resiliency that I like quite a lot. So that's what we did there. That's the new power plant. That's nice. Is this actually... Yeah, this is a version of a train that does not have... Let's use the one that has the superchargers. Okay. What was the other thing? Yeah, we were going back to the core for something, but I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's probably fine. Yeah, these... I also didn't drop a radar there. Okay, new plan. We're going to just pause in here, actually here for a moment. And I'm pretty sure I have radars. Yeah. And we're going to drop a radar... Like, I reckon, like, here. I reckon that's a good place for a radar. It didn't block any of these things, that's fine. Now we will have line of sight on all these things, and we'll be able to check how much of these fluids we have, and it looks like everything is just kind of fine. So let's jump in here, and yeah, go back to the core. I mean, I don't like that you guys don't have much, but I suspect also that's just because... Yeah, this tank is still fine. It's just... Okay, yeah, it's because the number of things here... Actually, these guys should be doing better, because I'm already missing 3 cores and another one isn't running. So I would have expected... Maybe this tank is... Yeah, this tank is a long way from full. Because we also just don't have these... You know, whatever. Okay. Other things we were going to do... So because I've got that extra supply of lithium... One of the things I can do at this point is... Where is it? It's over here. I can stop producing lithium from these lithium facilities. Which is nice because it means there's entire loops of stuff I could just simplify. Like, this can be dirty water, and then at the point when I have enough dirty water, we can just purify it, and this is like a whole train station we don't need. And then there was another lithium that I think I've already shut off over here. Yeah, so this lithium is already shut off. The thing I am realizing now is I'm going to need lithium in the logistics network, because there are still things like... There are still things like batteries that occasionally need some amount of lithium. So we're just going to have bots kind of poke this in here, and now we have lithium going into the network, even though we can get rid of all of these parts of things, which is just like a good amount of stuff to be clearing out of the base. In fact, actually some of that is dirty water line. Yeah, things we can clear out of the base between episodes are not a big deal, but this also means that there's just a whole other train station that doesn't need to be here. That train station I wanted to leave. I wanted to get rid of the combinator because I suspect that this train station was disabled because there wasn't enough lithium in these chests. And now we can empty these and we can take it to something useful, and we can like configure various parts. Yeah, we can kind of reduce the number of trains that are driving around, reduce the number of stations that are driving around. I have 5. I'm pretty sure I need 10. Oh, but you've also got 5. Okay, great. Give me all of... Oh, here's the other energy providers we needed as well, and I think that means craft a third Kaya core. Great. And then there's a bunch of stuff that I don't need that I can give back to the bots. And we can do a quick trip back to the... Yeah, so... Has that KI efficiency 2 tech moved recently? Are we... Oh, we're now out of yellow cubes. A little bit of a shame. Okay, so let's go back to talking about the other thing which we were going to do with the tech. This was... We were going down this intermediates line. Not that we're going to do anything with the intermediates today because we've still got a bunch of other stuff to build. There was... I don't think I poked at... Like, I've looked at these briefly and then didn't talk about them last episode because this one is 500,000 and this one's 1 million and this other one is also 1 million. And I was patiently going through like the Star Engine stuff of 100k here and 100k there, and basically none of this stuff here matters until we get the rest of the megabase going, because we've got 2.5 million science to push through. The thing we did want was, so I think was it off? It wasn't there. It was just off the... Yeah, it was we wanted this exotic matter, and we wanted to get into these modules because we absolutely wanted all of these modules because we need to... Yeah, 25% productivity bonus. But the next somewhat terrifying aspect of this is these might be more balanced than I was prepared for, on the grounds that the material constructions for these things are actually kind of hideous. And even the total raw ingredients kind of hides that, because it just says 6 Gauss modules. Like, it doesn't give the raw material breakdown. And does this one even give... Yeah, they all just say... Yeah, this one gives a better idea of exactly how much stuff we need. We need a huge amount of steel. We need 45,000 copper, a bunch of red chips, 11,000 ceramics. It's a lot. I think because it's this whole geometric scaling thing of the tier 6 module needs 6 tier 5s. The tier 5 needs 6 tier 4s. This tier 4 needs 6 tier 3s. And that all adds, I think, 636, 216, I think is the number. 216 module 3s I need. But also... the module 3s, which we've unlocked back here, haven't really used them yet. The module 3s are more expensive versions of the normal prod mod 3. So a module 3, a Stokes module 3, 2 productivity modules plus 4 other Stokes 2 modules. And the Stokes 2 modules we're also using, I'm using these quite a bit, but these are Stokes 1 modules and productivity modules. And the Stokes 1 modules are also productivity modules. And so that, like, that Matryoshka doll geometric scaling thing means that, yeah, one tier 6 25% productivity module, of which we want a bunch because it's fantastic, actually costs me like 216 tier 3 modules. And I think I figured out that each tier 3 module still needs like 2 stacks of productivity 1 modules or something obscene like that. So we want to start upgrading modules in bulk even more than we are, even though we don't have these techs unlocked yet, because we're just going to need a lot of them. But also combined matter, which comes from structured matter, and yet another space launch product. So we need to do a lot of space launches. We need to get a lot of this exotic matter. And the other tech in here that I think is going to be key is actually this exotic Covarex thing. And I think for reasons we actually want to do the exotic Covarex, the tier 1 modules, and then the exotic Covarex, and then the higher tier modules, because this is another Covarex thing. It takes a set amount of structured exotic matter. There's a down version and an up version, and converts one of them to the other kind. And so it just kind of goes around in a loop, and that's fine in a centrifuge, sure. The thing is, I want to get this tech and find out if these scale of modules, which we've seen do productivity bonuses in a bunch of places we weren't necessarily expecting it, whether these modules also give productivity bonuses to these Covarex loops. Because if they are, like if this thing gets a productivity bonus, then we can have a bunch of centrifuges. We can beacon them really hard, because we're pretty good at that now, because we've got these tier 3 beacons, and we can have centrifuges turning down matter into up matter, and then centrifuges turning up matter into down matter, getting a little bit of free matter every time, which means we can have a factory that spits out structured exotic matter, both up and down, that never has to launch any rockets, which I think is going to be a big deal, and will also depend on which of these modules, like if we start with this kind, we'll get 5 productivity if this works. If we could work our way up to these giant modules, we'll get 25%. But yeah, it's going to take a while. There's a lot of research to do. This is another Star Engine sized thing, except it also takes exotic science packs, which means we need to be, launching rockets for that. If this productivity trick works, this would also let us get exotic science without any more rocket launches. And all of that sounds pretty cool, but I think is going to be a bit of an issue to set up. Like the other reason why this is important is these tier 4, tier 5 modules need a bunch of down matter, and the tier 4 ones need a bunch of up matter, but it is not at all balanced in its usage. We need a lot more up matter than down matter, because for each 4 combined matter that we use to make a tier 5 module, we need 6 slots of combined matter to have already made 6 tier 4 modules. And then that combined matter is actually like twice as much, because it's combined in LDS, and like we're making more rockets, we're probably making LDS. Actually, we still need to make rockets, because this actually doesn't free us from rocket launches at all, does it? Or at least it does for the exotic science, but making the combined matter for these modules still actually needs the, not there, over here, it still needs the deep space data cards. That's still better though. I mean, it's still better doing rocket launches to get the deep space data cards to make Gauss modules is still better than also needing to do more rocket launches to get exotic matter. But the point being, where are we at the moment? We're going over there, yeah. That's the thing we need to do. We need to get a lot more rockets. For that, we need a lot more RCUs, and I think this RCU build is going to move, and the thing we need for that is more blue chips, which is the thing we talked about doing a while ago, and is the other thing that I have blueprinted. Oh, balls. Where are you going? Can I click on the train? Train is too small to be clicked on. Okay, fine. I thought I had... Oh, my bots are off. So you should now be getting stuff. You are not getting the red fluid. I guess there's all the other places that have to, deal with the red fluid as well. Didn't I pick up... I did pick up some more of these. Oh, you guys... I was hoping you would lane balance this. Okay, so that's somewhat lane balanced, and then we can put these ones back, and then I've got some stuff that can go in here, and we can't module or beacon these things. That's the reason why we've got giant arrays of them, even though we're talking in the beacons area. Like this is the beacons area. We can't beacon the things that power the beacons, which is like not unreasonable. Oh, we haven't set up this train station here. Needs to be. It's not beacon science A anymore. It's just beacon science yellow cube, which is pretty exciting. Enable train limit 1, and then I think, yeah, it would be good to give this guy a dedicated train, because I've got like this stop over here. Currently all the beacon science is going in this carriage over here, which I guess we just add to, we're just going to do this for a while, but we might give this a dedicated train later as well. Let's do it in that order, because I think the purple and yellow science might be moving to different places. In fact, that's one of the things we're looking at, and this beacon build might be the only thing that's way out over the side. Is this... So I just need more KI memory... Did I have... I had one more KI memory provider. Cool, cool. Yeah, I need to... I mean, those things are easy to make. I mean, it's probably... I didn't automate them because this is, like, the total number I needed, but also I've automated things like star engine cores, which are just worse. I wonder if I should be able to get in here, shouldn't I? Should be able to make that jump. And then let's just get back here. So that's our beacon stuff. We're now getting more cubes. We've got a tech plan, which is pretty aggressive. We need to go back to... Yeah, need to take some more... I mean, we'll go and finish that build between the next episodes. There's other things to get. There's more structured material because the KI3 cores need it. And then we've got to go and do a blue science thing. Yeah, so the kind of the short-term plan is these RCUs need to go somewhere else, and we've also got better beacon patterns for this. I mean, we've also got other RCUs elsewhere as well. The other reason to clear them out of this space is these guys are right next to, like, the main Logimall. I want to be down here, generally. Yeah, so we can... So this area here, I think we're going to move to a purely Logimall beacon upgrade. Beacon upgrade, module upgrade, because the module upgrade stuff is currently over here and a bit belt and a bit silly, and we didn't really have particularly good tools for getting this done when this was made. Like this is another thing, like it did what it needed to, but at this point it's a bit gross, because we can reconvert it to, do I have, yeah, basically this tiling blueprint of stuff, which is going to beacon everything hard, everything will run nice and fast, everything will be Logibot supplied, it will be nice and concise, all of that will be good, but we need to clear the RCUs out first, but also we just need to go and make red chips work first, which is also a thing that we should have all the stuff to go and do now. Let me just check whether, yeah, we're still waiting on more structured exotic matter, and also... Item handling for... Did they never get automated? Are these two here are the ones that will let me make memory providers. And then I just also need concrete and more ceramics, which I have here, and then also steel. Yeah, so we can get more of those things like so, whatever. We'll handcraft those for a bit, fine. Let's... Actually, do I have everything that I need? I need more Logibots for the next thing. Because we've got to go and do a very similar thing somewhere else. We've got... Like, I've already blueprinted the big next blue chips thing. People might have already seen it as we were mousing over this way. But this thing here is the new blue chips facility that we are about to go and enable. It is currently not enabled yet. It's still currently in the main... Yeah, it's still connected to the main logic grid because we were using that to build it. We need to snap that stuff off so we can give it Logibots and do dedicated supply. Let's have a look at the existing blue chip setup. I mean, it's it kind of does what it needs to. We'll be getting, I think these are these limited by green chip supply? They might be limited by green chip supply. They're also not super fast. They're also using K1 beacons that aren't hitting, like this one actually here is pretty good. This one here really quite good. Like this is giving no modules to transmit. Ah, balls. We did not set up the cores correctly. That's going to be an issue. I wonder if I can do that from the map. No. Okay. False alarm. We've got to go all the way back over to our beacon facility to put the beacons on the right channel. But other than that, let's talk about the old blue chips. Like it did things pretty good. We've got some productivity bonuses. We've got actually quite a lot of modules in here, or of beacons in here. We've got 8 or 9 tier 1 or tier 2 beacons, but we can do better than that. We can use a bunch of tier 3 beacons for a bunch of stuff. The other thing we want to do is, because I kind of want to, yeah, we're going to discontinue all of these train stations, but we'd like to preferentially empty all of these things out and just turn them into green chips, or turn them into blue chips first. Are you... Yeah, let's get rid of that to get one more delivery in here. Just so that we don't have quite so much stuff to pick up. Because this is still quite a few red chips that the Logibots would have to move around, and I'd rather have those be blue chips. And so if we delete this combinator, we will get another train load of delivery. Another delivery of gold here, because the combinator is the thing that's turning off the... Yeah, there we go. So now we should have a train load of gold delivered there, which will help eat up most of this train of red chips. And then... Do we need... Yeah, this is a lot of acid. We don't need that much acid either. All of that can no longer receive deliveries. And then the other thing we're going to do is deconstruction planner for Ki2 beacons and Ki1 beacons, and we're going to grab all of these beacons out of... I mean, they're not transmitting modules at the moment anyway. Oh, hey, I was bringing these things over. Cool, that's fine. That's a nice thing that I was doing. I was here to change the... Yeah, so are these... What channels are these on? That's channel 1. That's also channel 1, and it's this one that was not on channel 1. And so now it's on channel 1, yeah. Actually, see, we've got way too many beacons, and the bots are picking up the ones we just pulled out of the blue chips. And now we can wander all the way back over to the new blue chips build. Cool, good job. And, yeah, so let's talk about the new... Do we actually have it on radar? I think I do, because I have Spidertrons there. Yeah, so the new blue chips... has a lot of beacons through the middle of it, and has kind of too many beacons, and this is why we've exceeded our beacon limit. However, it was like me noticing that I had, it was like 17 or so beacons in each blue chips build. Let's go and find the other blue chips build, and we're probably about to pass the other blue chips build. Is that the one that we've... This is not the one that we've shut down. Yeah, because the combinator's still here. Okay, get rid of the red chips, get rid of the gold. And when I say get rid of, I mean, like, just get rid of the stations, because we want everything else kind of processing if we can. And then also pull up all these beacons, and we will just work through the rest of the backlog of whatever's in these stations, and at some point we'll attempt to remember to cut the copper and iron trains as well. Do I need to... Yeah, whatever. That'll be fine. Yeah, because we need to still just get more iron in here to make sure that we kind of drain these chests with all this stuff. But yeah, so is this the first or second one? Where's the other one? Did you get your train load of gold? You can just go back to, I mean, your 1k, 1k, 1k. Sure, these ones are... Yeah, we're going to end up with a couple of hundred red chips per chest left over. That's fine. Okay, we are at the place where the new blue chips is, and this one is, yeah, so we've got the star engine over here. We're up to 5 star engines now, which is pretty exciting. And we've got the first 2 star engines were these ones making copper and iron to make a lot of green chips. These 2 star engines actually were the 3rd and 4th, but we haven't really done a whole lot with them yet. We're only just like turning this build on is what we're doing with those. So there's the lithium one in the east, which is doing important power grid stuff, and then these are kind of the 4th and 5th star engine. We need to change about, yeah, so this here needs to be, do we, yeah, we can do this train station. We can't do the other train stations yet. We can request in acid. Where's acid? There's acid. Yeah, so we're gonna ship in a bunch of acid. Actually, does this train station shut off? It does not. Okay, that's kind of important. Am I standing on the tracks? Let's not be standing on the tracks. We want, I mean, some amount of acid. Let's have acid as a fluid less than, say, 200,000. We'll get a lot of acid. And yeah, I think because we're expanding the beacons and because one of the beacons uses uranium, I think we're mining this as well. So there's another train station here which we can put uranium on, especially as we're also just getting acid here. That makes this kind of easy to get. The other interesting thing is, yeah, all these trees still in the way. Copying blueprints between one mode and another. This is not actually the same green chips pattern as the green chips pattern over here. Like this one gets 24 assemblers per module, which I like a lot. But the thing is, this was kind of difficult to get any of these beacons. Like, it was difficult to put blue chips next to this in a way that actually used all the beacons well. In the sense, like, this was, the blue chips are a little more annoying because they've got like this pipe through the middle, and then yeah, we actually had two chests requesting green chips because we get filter inserter issues. But this pattern here for the green chips, each beacon doesn't hit as many buildings, but each assembler does get hit by more buildings, and it's also a green chips pattern that extends really nicely to the blue chips. So all those beacons are just doing, you know, nice beacon things. Also realized that I can't really beacon these green chips anymore. Like, without these roboports, there would be space for another beacon, except then these coils hit inserter throughput issues, and actually so do the chips. So that was an opportunity to just put more charging stations and stuff in the middle of the green chips. Over here between the blue chips, we have got more space for beacons, so that's nice. The thing we need to do, which we kind of needed to do before as well, actually, is this... These guys might also have construction bots in them because they're also kind of new builders. We also need to snap this off the logistics network, so we can give it, still on, it's over here, so we can give it its own logistics bots that can just do blue and green chip stuff, and then we will have a giant, is it giant? Hopefully an appropriate blue chips facility. Yeah, this is now its own roboport network. Oh yeah, fun details. We've also, so we're still doing a Chaos Mall thing in here. We're going to have 2 blue chip trains out, but we've also, like, these 2 boxes, there's also a box under here with the train fuel for this station, are actually in different logistics networks, and this one not having any train fuel is also why the train's complaining about being out of fuel. Okay, so how many you've got all the construction bots somewhere in... At some point I need to figure out... Oh, these... Yeah, all... Just... Actually, let's go around and get all the bots. Because this network, at this point, doesn't need construction bots. What it does need is logistics bots. We've got 43 more bots to find somewhere. That was most of them. We've now got 7 construction bots. Okay, 7 construction bots is a number that I'm kind of happy with. you can have some logistics bots. In fact, logistics bots are going to be kind of vital. How many do you have? I just gave you 400. Yeah, it's going to be way too much, isn't it? Never mind. So this is snapped off the grid, which is cool. The iron request is already in place. The green chips request is already in place. I left the copper request off. I think I just forgot, but also it was kind of vital because otherwise this whole business of all these bots running around would have happened when it was still connected to the other logistics network, which would have been bad. So we're gonna copy this. Yeah, they do all line up at the beacon. Yeah, we can just copy all of that thing and slap it here. All of that lines up. Where am I? I'm in here, and we can slap it. Yeah. So this kind of weird tree is in the way. Well, they at least got their requests. Not sure what else is going on there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This kind of weird offset copper box setup is just so that I could get these assemblers slightly closer together than like the input-output version, which does need, like, I need at least 2 chests here for each assembler, and so they just come out of one and go into the next, and that's fine. Whereas this one, I didn't need as, there's a nice pattern of making that slightly more concise. Why don't I have acid? You were waiting to go somewhere else? You were waiting to go to that train station. I would much rather that, I mean, yeah, continue train issues. The grid is bad. The grid is, like, somewhat deliberately bad, but you go there, and then this acid station should definitely be the closest. In the meantime, we've also got to set up this station, which already should have its train fuel thing, so we should just be able to throw a limit on that and request some train fuel. Okay, and then the other 2 things we need are, this one is the red chips one, so we're going to request some red chips. Yeah, that looks fine. And then this one is going to request gold, and has already got the gold filter on, so that's nice. Please, gold? Do you want to... Oh, okay. I already deleted the only other places I was requesting gold were in the other blue chips, which we kind of got rid of. So we have to kind of rebuild that station. But now we've got a gold request train, so all those things should turn up here. And yeah, same thing. Pretty much the same thing as the red chips setup. We've got this kind of chaos station arriving. We've got filtered storage to receive the stuff. We've got like just a lot of logi building, and all of this hopefully gets everything done. These are, I think, in the other blue chips build that was fewer beacons, we had most of the crafting speeds were 3.3 or so, and here all of these crafting speeds are 5.5, which is like not, on the scale of things, not that much bigger than what we already had, but I think we had overbuilt blue chips in the previous build significantly, but also I'm kind of okay with that. Okay, so that's all pretty much what we needed to do here. The blue chips are now... Is that true? That's not actually true at all, is it? Because we're requesting blue chips here, but we need to not get stuck on all this stuff. How do I actually get... Okay, fine. We need these to be the blue chips train stations. And we can have a train limit of 2 here, because we've got space behind. So like, this is one of the things that I wanted with the larger grid, was like something imitating a stacker. Okay, so that's all pretty much set up. I think there was this way. So I think there's Yeah, there's the RCUs thing. There's all, yeah, we're making blue chips now. Yeah, lots of vast blue chips production. Things are fine. Um, so let's go over. I think we are going to drop one over here, or drop something over here, but not particularly seriously yet. Actually, let's check whether or not we've got more yellow cube things in our labs, because actually, that's the other thing I didn't do. I didn't actually, like, we unlocked this better effectivity recipe and then didn't actually change any of the recipes where we were manufacturing that stuff. But I want to see if we can squeeze out two and then go back to this. And then I guess we talk about the next plan briefly first, and that is that one of the other blueprints I was hacking about is, like, in terms of better Logibot stuff, I wanted to figure out if there was a way to get a lot of beacons on kind of a purple science rail direct insert thing, and this kind of does that. And then also we've got this other mall section, or at least the, like, this thing here is the pattern that I'm probably using for maybe not quite so many beacons to start with, because A, I don't have beacons, but also we don't need that much manufacturing speed. But nice things about this pattern as opposed to the original green chips pattern is that I can still get a decent number of normal beacons in here and boost these things a bit while I don't have the extra beacon capacity. But the thing that struck me about these is, yeah, like this yellow science setup, but then also realized that this pattern here is generic enough that I can cook stone in one of these. If I have electric furnaces here, I can cook stone here for the furnaces. I can also just set the furnace recipe here, and then realized I can also just set yellow science here as well. And I can set here drone parts, which are also the things that I need for yellow science. So I can have purple and yellow and basically all of the intermediates, and also if I make sure I have some of these sticking on the outside, I can find a place to put lubricant to make electric engines. So I can do, I think I'm going to do, and I need to work on the ratios for this, but I think I can do an entire purple yellow build, all Logimold, maybe in a large grid, because it looks like it's going to need a bunch of space. But the thing I'm thinking about now, in relation to doing more RCUs again, is this is also the RCUs pattern. What do I need for RCUs? I need red chips, I need blue chips, I need green chips. What do I need for purple and yellow science? Well, I need blue chips for yellow science, I need a lot of red chips for purple science, I need a lot of green chips for drone parts and prod mods for purple science, drone parts for yellow science. So maybe the RCUs and the purple and yellow science all just happen in the same place? But then the next thing I'm thinking of is, well, if I'm making RCUs here and I need LDS here, do I also just make LDS here? At which point do I just also make rocket fuel here, because I think I want a new rocket fuel build, and then do I just also make space science here as well, in the same kind of node, and just put on a train purple, yellow, and space science, and just train all of that back to the base? That is a definite possibility. And then, yeah, then the other thing to do is also take more or less this pattern, probably with fewer beacons, who knows, and I don't have any of them, that's why the bot's not doing anything, and use this also as the nice concise Logimol pattern in the space where one of the RCU builds currently is. This RCU build over here. Yeah, move some of these RCUs somewhere else. I think I already talked about this. Put a module upgrade thing here, and then have a nice concise beaconed Logimol module upgrade that is a lot nicer than this thing here with its two stations. Like, we can get such better value if we replace all of these stations with basically just a chaos station, and then replace all of these things with a bunch of Logibot fed things. In fact, these things in this station would already just be this, where is it? It's all the way out here. This exact cluster of stations here, because it's already the same Logibot network, and this isn't very far. So I think that's going to be the blueprint to work on next time. I think we're also going to get more power in next time. Are the labs? Yeah, the labs have... Oh, this train is on its way back. Go to the beacon signs. Bring me beacon signs. Yeah, okay, it's a bit of a way. Fine, we'll do that, and then we'll go back to it, and maybe, yeah, if I get this tech in between, then maybe I will move all of these over to the other side in between episodes. Maybe I'll just do that anyway. But yeah, we'll come back, we'll have a better recipe, because I think I already talked about doing an RCU thing differently with this in the previous episode, and then didn't do it before this one, but got some of it. But yeah, I think then we'll just need everything else as well, of which there are still many things, because 248K mod, but we do at least have blue chips now, right? That's a thing that we've got a lot of. Yeah, this is going fine. These guys are all going at decent speeds. These guys are all working. These guys are all working. And yeah, this is basically semiconductors from saltwater. I think this is one of the things I found entertaining about it, is that the fusion power for these star engines is now entirely saltwater, because we are getting the lithium from a star engine, fusing it from saltwater. Then these star engines turn water from these offshore pumps into copper. Most of the materials in these red chips are also just seawater, because they're coming from the green chips from us over here. And yeah, many things are seawater powered. Mostly pretty good. Getting through the research, seeing that modules are incredibly expensive, and we've got to figure out what ratios I want for those things. Yeah, got to figure out a big purple-yellow science blueprint as well. We'll come back and have more things to drop down, and probably a bit more progress through techs, and yeah, lots of good things.